Welcome to Dow's Weekly Digest. So what shoulda moment did you have this week? Shoulda moment, what do you mean by that? It's, I should have done this. Or, as you get more gray hair, it seems like they should have done this. They should have done that. So what type of shoulda moment did you have? I had a couple. We had a couple events, and the events were right behind each other. And they really weren't events that were brand new. We had done them before. But I kind of had some shoulda moments. And in the context of those shouldas, it was on how we could improve the events themselves. If we should have done this, if we should have done that. So, shouldas. My word for the day is going to be judging or judge. Recently we've heard a lot on the word judge, and probably you'll hear a lot more. But before we get to that and look at illustrations, folks, let's look at a little Cowboy Wisdom. This Cowboy Wisdom might help have a better understanding, a clear understanding of the word judge. Half of getting what you want is knowing what you have to give up to get it. Knowing half of the battle is knowing what you're going to give up if I want to accomplish that. Pretty good food for thought there, folks. You know, you might be a Lutheran if it takes you over 10 minutes to leave. You know, it starts out maybe at the table. Dad might declare, well, we better get going. But that doesn't mean you're going to get up and go. It's just a declaration. And then there'll be maybe some discussion. And then maybe, let's say 5 minutes, Dad will get up. But nobody else will get up. And a few minutes go by, and he's going to make the declaration again. Well, we better get going. And then maybe he'll add on why, because it's going to get dark. And I don't see so good at dark. That tends to motivate the rest a little bit. So then they get up. And then there's the movement towards the door. And then we finally make it outside, and you get kind of towards the car, and there might even be a discussion about the car and how the mileage was, and if the wind's going to be blowing in your face, and things like this. Then Dad might open the car door on his side, but nobody else does, and he's still talking. And of course, everybody else is talking too on the trip and things of this sort. And then they'll get in the car. And of course, they got to roll the windows down so they could continue to talk. And they'll just keep right on talking and things like this. Lo and behold, somebody forgot something. And so they got to get out and go find what they forgot. And the door opens up. Everyone opens the door then, and then does a little more talking there. And then finally the person comes back and said that they found it. And then there's discussion, where are we going to put it in the trunk, or are we going to put it in the back seat? And after that discussion, then everyone seems to be get settled and everything. Well, they've already done maybe a few hugs and kisses, but they still got to lean into the car and give a couple more. And then you slowly back out of the driveway. Now, during this whole time, you're giving a good howdy-do and waving and things like that, and they are too. You go down the road, and as you look in your rearview mirror, they are still there, and they're still waving. Folks, you might be a Lutheran if it takes you over 10 minutes to say goodbye. And believe me, it happens. How about some South Dakota trivia? It's about a little town in Custer, South Dakota. If you go through the town of Custer, South Dakota, you will notice something on Main Street. Folks, when they started that town, they made Main Street wide enough that when they got to the end of town, they could turn around and come back. They made that town street, Main Street, wide enough that a team of 8 oxen, during the time of Custer's encampment, it could go to the end and turn around and come back and make that U-turn. And it's that wide. And again, it makes me see, when I go to Custer, oh, I can understand why that road is a little bit wider than, say, Hill City's road at all. But that's the South Dakota trivia. the word judging or judge. So what does the Bible say about judging? I'm going to look at Matthew 7:1-6. There needs to be a little bit of a clarification. I think biblically, when you speak of the word judging, judge the action, not the motive itself. And sometimes we'll get that confused. In Matthew 7, verses 1-6, it says this, "Judge not that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." So again, it's not that we don't judge and we can't judge. It's that we look at more judging the action and not the motive itself. That's what the Bible says about that. A little fable to share with you here. There were 3 animals that were going to go to heaven. They had passed away and they were going to get to go to heaven. They were going to have to meet St. Peter, for St. Peter was granted to be the judge at these pearly gates. And so these animals needed to come there and kind of be judged by St. Peter. Now, St. Peter has been at the pearly gates forever and ever. God gave St. Peter a beautiful, beautiful chair, so he wouldn't have to stand all the time at these pearly gates. He gets to sit down. So there's St. Peter sitting in his beautiful chair, and out come these 3 animals to heaven. One of them is a German Shepherd named Duke. Another one is a Doberman named Whitley. And the third one is a Calico Cat, Miss Kitty. They get there, and the ears of the dogs, man, they are perked up, they are looking, and they are attentive right on St. Peter. Miss Kitty, she's looking around a little bit, looking at things over, and even walks around the chair. St. Peter says to Duke, the German Shepherd, "Tell me what you believe, and then I can decide if you should be here." Duke says, "Well, I want to tell you that I always obeyed my master. I learned from my master, and whatever my master asked of me, I didn't hesitate to obey my master." St. Peter said, "Ooh, well done, Duke. You come here and you sit on my right side." So Duke kind of puffs himself up and comes over here and sits. Next marches up Whitley, the Doberman. Says, "What do you believe in, Whitley?" "I believe that I always protected my family. Not only my master, but indeed the whole family. My ears were attentive. Anything that I heard, it was an alert to me. I was always trying to protect my family." Protection, that's very important, St. Peter said. "Whitley, why don't you come over here and sit on my left side?" Then up steps Miss Kitty, and she's still looking around, and Peter says, Miss Kitty, what do you believe in?" And Miss Kitty kind of looks at him, and she says, "What do I believe in? I believe you're in my chair. I believe you're in my chair, Miss Kitty." In fact, it says this. Think of this, folks. It is said, for a balanced life, you need to have a dog that adores you and a cat that ignores you. That'll give you a balanced life. So sometimes judging will be a little different than what you think at times, as it happened to St. Peter there. How are we going to judge 2020? I'd like to now share with you something that came to me from an associate of mine. She shared this with me. It's entitled 2020, a year to forget that will not be forgotten. We've never lived through a pandemic before. In the matter of a few short days, our lives were turned upside down. Our schools were closed, businesses stopped, and we all stayed home and learned what it meant to social distance. At first, it was a bit novel, but it didn't take long for the novelty to wear out. Technology took over our homes and workplace as we pulled together to battle this virus, and that kept us away from our friends and family. Every decade seems to have a certain marker. Presidents are shot, wars begin, 9/11, 2001, floods, fires, hurricanes. The beginning of 2020 is going to be remembered definitely by COVID-19. But you know, folks, we're fortunate to be in an industry that proved to be essential during the time of this shutdown and the changes that we went through. You adapted with the use of technology to serve your clients. You interpreted policy language and guided the consumers to solutions as they adjusted to their new lifestyle and business style. We in this industry, we should be impressed on how our carriers stepped up to provide assistance on such things as premium payment flexibility or contributions to social causes. It's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, folks. You know, people mention they would just like to skip ahead to next year. You know, push that magic fast forward button, but we don't have one. We could only hope and pray it will be better. 2020 is the year we survive COVID-19. You may want to forget it, but you will not. I thought that was an excellent way to judge 2020, folks. You know, there's a carrier that we work with. They have judged we're all going to be needing, and our families are going to need, when I use this phrase many times, this life event happens. And that's the assistance and the need for help with long-term care. That company is One America. And be sure, as I briefly cover some things here, folks, to contact your internal wholesaler for more information on this particular life event subject. I think when they started their judging of the need to satisfy and developing their products, they look holistically of the whole event itself. And so, folks, one of the things here they have is a concierge service. When the product that was purchased, when it's starting to fulfill that need, in other words, the life event happened, they're there. They're going to be there to help that family with their needs, not only of today, but of tomorrow. One of the areas that they have developed is a product they put under the term of asset care. And be sure to ask again your internal wholesaler for maybe this booklet or more information on it. What this does, folks, is this. It says the word guarantee, folks. It's a very important word. How do you judge the word guarantee? Maybe they judge it this way in taking care of the need of long-term care. That'll be the combination of death benefit and long-term care. Premiums never increase. Benefits never decrease. Assets grow at a guaranteed rate. Death benefits are available if the long-term care isn't needed. And they can even have the option to have their premium returned. Boy, my judgment is that's pretty darn good, folks. I can see the action that they're going to take and judge that A+. And that's one of their products called Asset Care. They also have, this is called Protecting Your Retirement Income. So you've accumulated some assets. Some of those assets might be in a qualified plan such as a 401k. And with the help of our internal wholesalers, we can show you ways to help that client where they could take that asset of the qualified money and actually help with that life event of long-term care. Not only that one person who has that qualified asset, but also their spouse. Let's look at some things here, folks. So they could use an existing asset, and it could be used three ways. They could have long-term care benefits, they could have a living value called cash value, and they could have a death benefit by looking at the existing asset. And this is called Annuity Care. Annuity Care, folks. I touched on the uniqueness of this concierge service. And this is protecting the family when that life event happens. When contact is made, so the event is, so my mother is going to go into a long-term care facility. You know, that's not an easy path to be going down, folks. It can be very, very cumbersome. It can be bewildered. And I'm in the industry, and I still felt that way when that life event happened. You know, many, many times in many states, your loved one's personal physician won't follow them to a long-term care facility. You have to go and find a whole new physician that will follow them and take them on as a patient. That was news to me, folks, and it happened just like that when that statement was given to you. Yeah, we have a bed open, but you have to, who's your doctor? Dr. So-and-so. Oh, we don't show them on the list that they'll follow their patient. Tell me what you mean by that. They won't follow the patient, so when your mom is here in the long-term care facilities, they won't come and visit. Boy, what an awakening. You know what? If she would have had this policy, the concierge service would have helped me. And when I say help, folks, you are assigned a particular loyal person from One America. This is a One America employee. They will follow your loved one's case all the way through. It won't have to go through a bunch of different people. It's just concierge one-on-one. If you go to a real nice hotel and you see that there's a desk and it's what's a concierge service, at most you might have maybe two people there, one in the morning and maybe one in the evening. And when you want to ask for help there, they will get to know you very personally and see what your needs are and help you. And you walk by that desk again, they're going to know your name. They're going to know you. They're going to know your family. They want to know, how can we help? What questions do you have? And believe me, they are there to help. So it's very, very unique, but it kind of completes the cycle, knowing that is there. And remember, folks, too, One America is a mutual company. What do I mean by that? You know who the owners are? The policyholders. That's who owns this insurance company. It's not stock company. It's a mutual company. So they have dedicated assistants. They care for the entire family, and they want to preserve choice and flexibility. That's one thing that these products will do, folks. When that life event happens, your loved one's going to have choice and flexibility. You're going to be there to help them. So be sure to get more information from our internal wholesalers. I said the word was judge. Well, let's look at some recommendations now, folks. The book I have on Kindle, believe it or not, this old man's getting more books on Kindle. It's entitled, How to Stop Being Judgmental and Needy. It took a while after I read the book, then it kind of was apparent to me. But I thought, why in the title have they got the word needy? Many, many times, folks, the root cause of a judgmental personality is their sense of neediness. And when it doesn't happen, then they become a judgmental personality. So it's a real good book. It kind of don't major in minors. And sometimes that's what judgmental will do to us. So don't major in minors. David Hunter is the author of this book, How to Stop Being Judgmental and Needy. Well, the song is 1971. Simple little title for it. The title of this song is Signs. And some of the opening verses is, the sign says no long-haired freaky people need apply. So I tuck my hair up under my cap and I go in and ask him why. The song is Signs. It's by 5-man electrical band. The song Signs. The poem is entitled Judging Others from Lucia With. Nice little poem there. And how about the movie? It was back in 1972. And I said the word of the day was judging or judge. Well, this is the life and times of Judge Roy Bean. It's based on a true story. He was actually kind of an outlaw, and he gets to western Texas, and he declares himself, I'm going to be the judge of West Texas. And at the time, there wasn't much law there. But he did have a law book. His interpretation of the law book was something else. person who played the part of Judge Roy Bean was Paul Newman. That's the movie that I recommend. How about a power phrase? A real quick power phrase here from Mr. Ben Feldman. Again, Mr. uses little words there. Wives may not believe in life insurance, but widows do.
My grandmother went into a long-term care situation. My mom was the main go-to person in that. She was the caretaker. They're 20 years apart. Finally, my mom buckled. She said, "Mom, I need to get you some help. I can't keep up this pace and do this every day." So my grandmother goes to her bedroom and she comes out of the filing cabinet and blows off the dust off a file and says, "Hey, I've got one of these." And it was a long-term care insurance contract. So we turned that policy on, and the first thing that I learned on that was the ancillary benefits. Yeah, I got this stream of money coming in to help my grandma get the care she deserved, but my mom got her life back. I didn't know the specifics of long-term care, so I thought I'd go out and just find a policy, find a good company, and get one put in place for my mom. You know, it's great. She's got a wonderful program. She's got lifetime benefits. It gives us more than anything. It gives us a peace of mind. But I came to my wife and I said, you know, I think I want to do something different. I want to start a company focused on long-term care insurance because the need is great. We always tell everybody, we're not going to sell you anything. We're going to help design a plan that's right for you and your family. When I call One America, it's the people behind it, the people that are on the other end of the phone. I think what One America does so unique is they give us more solutions. They give us more programs, more ways to fund those programs. They give us a wider range of underwriting guidelines. And it allows us to bring more people to the table.
Tell you about the different generations? Mom, that caregiver, got what? Got her life back. And I spoke of a journey. This young man decided that his life path, his career, was going to be marketing long-term care products. He became a believer, folks. Let me ask you a question. When was the last long-term care discussion you had? When was the last long-term care policy that you had? In your judgment, do you think that the clientele for the need of long-term care is going to be more or less? With the advent of COVID-19, do you think they would be more open to the discussion of long-term care? Oh, by the way, One America can help with that. You ask your internal wholesaler. Folks, God's plan for you is tremendously G. I can't tell you how big a G it is. Blessed are those who ease the pain of whatever life event might be, that pain of misfortune, for they shall be called insurance agents. You take care now.